What is going on, everyone? I hope you are having the most amazing day ever. Today, officially opening day of baseball. I'm super excited. Yankees got that first win under their belts. It's going to be a great season. I cannot wait. I love beginnings because anything is possible. At the end of it, you're like, okay, I've done it, whether I succeeded or failed. But this is beginning. It's super excited. I can't wait to see. Hopefully they do well. Hopefully they get the World Series. But even if they don't, I'm excited to see where this team goes. Excited to see these players develop. And it's going to be a great ride. Hopefully positive. But you never know. We'll see. But I got that first win. So super excited about that. And you know what that means? Guys, it's springtime. Dust off your shoes. Get the heck outside. It is absolutely beautiful. I know by me, I'm out there every single day, going for at least one walk a day just to get outside, get that vitamin D. Steps, first of all, are super important for you. Just by increasing your step count, it's going to help you with just your overall health, mental, physical. So don't discount it. Plus, going on a walk with your partner, a friend, family member, you're going to connect with them. That's going to help you with your mental fitness. Putting on a podcast, you're going to learn a little bit, or just enjoy the world, disconnect a little bit. In however way you want to slice the pie, it's going to be great for you. So do not discount it. I've been doing it since I moved here. I have a 30-minute lunch. It doesn't take me 30 minutes. So instead of just watching a YouTube video, instead of just listening to my podcast or just watching a TV show, I take the last 15 minutes of my lunch, 15 minutes to eat, 15 minutes walk slash 10 minutes around my building. Boom. I'm helping myself get another 1,000, 1,500 steps just by doing that every single day. I'm getting the vitamin C. It makes me feel good, helps me digest. So again, right now it's probably my favorite thing to do. I try to take at minimum one walk a day, maybe two. Today I took 2 walks and I ran. It's great. Take the time. If you have it, use it. I imagine right now you could stop scrolling for 15 minutes, go outside, enjoy it. So get outside. That's your PSA. Get out there. But on top of that, another random thought that's been going through my head recently, and I think I've talked about it before, but boring fitness. I know I've talked recently about fun. Make fitness fun, but boring fitness. What is boring fitness, and why should we be doing it more? I think complexity within fitness is highly overrated, and nutrition, I think it's highly overrated. I think most people complicate things. I think they look at the 1% and miss the other 99 that can actually make the progress that they're looking for. We don't have a lot of time. A lot of us are really busy, especially with just how life is right now in society. It a lot of our time is being sucked up by other things, which is fine, but that means you need to focus on the boring things in order to squeeze the most out of the time you do have. So, like, do the boring things. The boring things are what's going to help you get the results. Things like going to bed a little bit earlier, disconnecting from your phone a little bit earlier, drinking more water. I know, get a water bottle, 40 ounces, 20 ounces, drink it a few times a day. You're going to feel better. What I just said, go for walks, get your steps in, enjoy it, move your body. I would rather you walk every single day and get a certain amount of steps than if that's the only thing you have for fitness, do it. But if you can't do something else, lift some weights, do it. Help yourself, keep that muscle, keep that bone health. It's going to help you in the long term. And then with diet, just focus on not eating as much processed foods. Eat as much minimally processed foods as possible. You're going to feel better. Just by doing those boring things, you're going to see a change within yourself, how you feel. It is a great gateway to adding more and doing more. But at minimum, if you're doing those things, you're going to feel a heck of a lot better. And you're already above a majority of people that aren't doing any of those things. So Stick to being boring. Sometimes boring is great. Sometimes boring's awesome. It might not be exciting. It might not get you a million followers on Instagram, but I guarantee you it'll make you feel a lot better. And that's what life's all about. Feel better. Let's go. Let's get into the main topic. Probably the reason you're here right now. So let's talk about it. Your fitness results have stalled. Now, what do you do? What do you do? You're not making the results that you are looking for. So, what do you do? The first thing you don't do is don't panic. Results and progress are not linear. So in fat loss, it doesn't. You don't start here and you just go do 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 do. It doesn't do that. It's all over the place, and sometimes that might be just holding steady, and that's okay, because the journey is going to take time. It's going to take time. No matter how big your goal is, 5, 10, 50, 100 pounds, that weight, that fat did not get put on overnight. It's not going to come off overnight. Give yourself that time to do that. Now, before we get into what are some things that we could be doing in order to, if our progress is stalling, what can we do to continue to see that progress? I don't want you to make the mistake that I've made in the past. And that's by constantly changing in order to see that progress. Going from one thing to the next, 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 to the next. Because usually what tends to happen with when you start anything, you tend to see progress pretty quickly. And then we stale off. And then we might see progress again. But usually during that little flat period, that's when people give up. That's when they switch. And then they maybe see a little bit of progress from something else, they stall. And at the end of the day, when you add it all up, they really make no progress because they're exactly where they started before, because they just keep giving up at the point where you shouldn't give up. So that's an easy way to not see progress. I've seen it. I've seen my clients do it. Don't. No, it's not time to change. But if you haven't been seeing progress, I would say a minimum 2 to 4 weeks. Like, no, I'm talking absolutely no progress. And what I mean is, if your goal is fat loss, you're not seeing any fat loss. That means your scale's not moving. Your progress pictures are the same. Your circumferences, like your waist or your chest or wherever you're measuring, are exactly the same, or potentially going the opposite direction that you're looking for them to go. Then that is the time to evaluate, okay, what am I doing? What are the actions that I can take now to help make this process go in the direction that I want it to? And there are a few things you can evaluate when doing this. The first place, especially when it comes to fat loss, that you want to look at is the nutrition. Because as we know, there's only one thing that matters when losing fat, and that is being in a calorie deficit. So if we're not in a calorie deficit, it's going to be a little hard. Not a little. It's going to be impossible to lose fat. So this is a point where if you're not seeing the progress, double check your tracking. Be a little bit more vigilant. Be sure that, okay, I am getting this right. Measure, take pictures, just get that little bit of extra detail of knowing, okay, I am getting the nutrition that I need to be getting through your protein, your fiber, calories. Because sometimes when you're going through a process, first few weeks, you're great, you're on point. And sometimes you might slack off a little bit. You're like, okay, I got this. I'm making my progress. I'm doing good. And then you maybe let off the gas a little bit. And we're notorious, all humans, me, you, anybody, are terrible at estimating how many calories we're eating every day. We can be in a ballpark, especially if you have experience and you understand, you'll be in the ballpark, but we tend to usually underestimate what we're doing. So you might be thinking you're at 2,000 calories when you might be 24. It can be pretty easy to do that. So just dial in there. And from that point, if it is looking good, diet is locked in, your nutrition's on point, I like to look at the foods in which I'm eating. How are they making me feel? Like if a certain food is making me maybe feel maybe a little extra bloated, maybe holding on to a little bit more water, how is it feeling? Just evaluating and looking at, okay, when I eat X food, I feel like Y. Maybe that's an easy way to swap those things out, see how they make you feel, and then go from there. Everyone's a little bit different. So you just gotta just look. That's all you're doing. You're examining, you're adjusting your nutrition to help you feel your best. And sometimes certain foods just don't respond to certain people in certain ways. And and if you notice, the one thing I didn't tell you to do, decrease your calories. That's not necessarily the first action you should be taking. It's nowhere near the first action you should be taking, especially if you've calculated your calories, you've looked at it, you're hitting your goals, and you've seen that progress already, then that necessarily the calorie number is not the problem. I've seen way too many times with my clients where they've they 100% they believe they're hitting their goals. Okay, I'm at my 1800 calories. I'm locked in. I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it. I'm not losing weight. I'm not losing it. I'm not losing it. Okay, let's really dial it in. Let's track. Let's take pictures. Let's look at it. Does everything seem to be lining up? And I mean everything. Our like anything we're putting in our mouth that we're consuming, we're tracking. Just let's look at it. And sometimes we'll find, okay, well, no, we're not hitting 18, we're hitting 2. We're hitting 22. It's that a little extra drink here, there's a little bit of food here that we're not calculating for, not adding into our numbers. Decreasing calories is not the first step. So it's probably not even 2 or 3. And I didn't even include it on this list because of that reason. Now, coming from the next one, how is your recovery and your stress level right now? It's an area that a lot of people don't talk about, or they don't really think about it because stress is very normalized. It's we know where there's stress, there's things coming at us from all different directions, and that fitness and nutrition is a release for that stress. But it's also with our workouts, with everything we're putting stress on our body when we're in a fat loss phase, where that is a stress. Our workouts are a stress. So we need to be monitoring that in order to make sure that we're making that progress because of it. So things like, are we getting enough rest? How are your stress levels? How's your daily energy level? And examining that. It is a I love to track this when things aren't necessarily feeling right. Like, hey, for a week, how many hours are you sleeping? Track that every day. Right, like 1 to 10. How stressed are you? Beginning of the day, end of the day, even like your energy level. When you wake up, how do you feel? You feel so sore I can't move my body? Are you ready to go, jumping out of bed, ready to conquer the damn world? Like those are things you got to know. If you're feeling like crap every single day, well, something needs to change. There's something's not right there. And that could be what's stalling your progress. And there are ways to make sure that you're recovering a little bit better, decreasing your stress. Because when your body is stressed, when we feel stress, like our 10 out of 10, not even 10 out of 10, but like this chronic little bit of stress that, throughout the day we feel like an 8, and I get down to a 4, and there's just like this chronic level of stress, our body is going to go into that fight or flight mode. It's going to be trying to resist change, which means we're going to be holding on to body fat because our body's thinking we're going into a fight and we need to hold on to it. So your body's going to want to resist that change, which is the change that you want it to make. But because of that stress and lack of recovery, it is going to fight against you, which is not what we need. We already got enough challenges out here. We don't need our body itself to be fighting back against us. So again, track your sleep, track your stress levels, look at your energy levels, track it. It doesn't have to be, for forever, but like 1 to 2 weeks, check it out, make some changes, check it out again, because that is what's going to help you actually know how you're feeling and be able to see that in a visual way. Because if we can't visualize it, it's going to be impossible to know how we can adapt it. From some other ways to help you decrease your stress and increase recovery, if you've been in a fat loss phase for a while, you're in a calorie deficit for a while, try going back to maintenance for a few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Help yourself build up that calorie count again, get that energy back in. Maybe you've just been cutting for a little too long. I would say, for some people, like even just 2 weeks, especially depending on how aggressive that cut is going to be challenging. Um, if you're feeling incredibly sore from your workouts, maybe it's time to take some intensity off. We're going to talk about workouts in a little bit, but maybe you just got to deload. Maybe you got to take down the intensity a little bit. Maybe you're doing too much volume and you have to make those adjustments from there. And lastly, with stress, sometimes it's not as cut and dry as like something that you can control. There are a lot of factors outside of our control, whether that be our job, our family, just the cards that we are dealt, and there's things we have to adapt to. So just being aware of that and knowing, okay, I know I can't change this right now. But that, like, example, your job, the hours you work. Like I work, most days I have to be at the hospital 6:30 in the morning. I work till 3. I can't really change that. I'm stuck within that schedule. And if I want to work out early mornings, sometimes I do. Like I'm gonna have to wake up earlier, and which means I'm gonna have to go to bed earlier. And that is just the life that I currently have to live if I want that to be in my schedule. You that so you can only control certain things. I could be upset at that. I could be super angry. That's super frustrating. But what is that gonna do for me? The only way I can change that is if I find a new job. So just like being aware of like the things you can control and the things you can't control, and trying not to stress about the things you can't control and focus on the things that you can control. It's going to help you drop that stress level down. It's going to help you be more calm and just help you focus on you and the things that you can take control of. Because there are a whole lot of things you can take control of. Now, diving back into a little bit more on your programming. How long have you been on your current program? Are you And by program, I mean your workouts. If you've been sticking with your workouts, working on progressive overload, how long have you been progressing with that? Have you stuck with the same workouts consistently for 8, 12, 16 weeks? And have you just kept adding, 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 adding? Is that intensity too high? Or have you dropped it back down, reloaded, dropped it back down, reloaded? Because if you haven't, that could be an issue right there. Just adding that too much stress to your body hasn't been able to adapt. If you're adding weight or reps every single workout continuously for 50 plus weeks, that's a lot of volume. That is a whole lot of volume. So just think about it. Have you done that? Now, to the counterpoint of that, are you pushing yourself hard enough in your workouts to see the results you were looking for? Because I that is another avenue. So if you are not getting sore, or you haven't been sore, you haven't really felt that your workouts have been that difficult, and you're not seeing the progress you've been looking for, maybe it's time to challenge the workouts a little bit more. An easy way to do this is that RPE scale, so the rating of perceived exertion, how hard you feel like you're working. Simply put, 1 to 10. 1 being like the easiest thing in the world. You sit on your couch watching your favorite TV show. 10 being the hardest thing you've ever done. This is the hardest. You could not do 1 more rep after you finish. You had nothing left in the tank. It's literally finished and you're done. That is a 10. 1 being like, I can be here all day. Let's go. Put on my show. I'm ready. All right, exercises should not be feeling like a 1. Now, while we're progressive overloading, 7 to 9 is really that sweet spot. We don't need to get to 10. We don't have to be at failure, but we got to be pretty darn close to failure. If you feel like you got more than 1 to 2 reps left in the tank after you finish an exercise, you could probably go up, whether that's in weight or reps, depending on your program. That's how you should feel. 1 to 2 reps. You don't need to gas yourself out, but you need to be challenging yourself. And if you don't feel like you have 1 to 2 reps left in the tank, you have more for multiple exercises during your programming, that workout is just too light. Especially if it's constant. Now, if it's a recovery day or you're taking it easy that day for an injury, amazing. I'm not talking about that instance. I'm talking about this is your regular workout. You're ready to kick your butt. You got goals, and this is what you're doing for it. If you feel like you have constantly more than 2 reps left in the tank for every single exercise, that workout was too easy. It was too easy. You're not putting enough stress on your body for it to adapt to where you want to be. And I know that's what you want to do because that's why you're taking the time out of your day to make that workout fit in your schedule and why you're doing it. So why not make sure it's going to get you to where you want to be? So make sure you're challenging yourself. Write it down. If you're not tracking your workouts, start today. Go to Marshall's, get a notebook. I love it. Write it down. Write it down and just write. You can write notes on that. I love to write notes. I star like certain exercises. That was too easy. Or I could go up next time on that. That was maybe a 7. Okay. I wanted to be an 8 or a 9. Let's go up on that. And now I know next time because I'm not going to remember how my workout felt last time. And I'm barely going to remember the weight I chose. But now I know I can challenge this. I know where I need to be. Okay. I did the same thing last week. And now it's feeling a little easier. Next time I'm going to see if I can add another rep. Challenge yourself. Because if you don't, you're not going to get the response you're looking for. You're not. And I know a lot of factors will come into play when it comes to making progress. There are so many things with fitness. It and I understand that it can be very overwhelming and very frustrating because you can feel like you can change so many different things and it could feel like I am changing everything. I'm doing so much and I'm not seeing the progress and I get that frustration. Trust me, I've been here. That's why I do all of this for you. So you can avoid those frustrations as much as possible. But with every fitness journey I've ever seen, there's going to be some frustrations. There's going to be some downfalls and it's okay. That's the journey. That's the fun of it. That's what makes it exciting. And that's what makes it even more sweeter when you do see that progress. And the one thing that matters the most, and it goes back to the beginning of what I was talking about, consistency. You need to be consistent. Whatever you're tracking, whatever you're changing, you need to be consistent with that change. It doesn't matter if it's nutrition, fitness, sleep, whatever it is. If you are not consistent with it, you are not going to be able to accurately know if it worked or didn't work. Not accurately. It probably, if you're not being consistent, it's probably not going to work. So what you might believe that it is that, but if you're not consistent, it might not be. Okay. I have I'll give you an example. 3 day a week workout plan. If I consistently miss 1 day out of the 3 days every single week, by the end of it, 8 weeks, I could say it's a workout program. I didn't get the results I was looking for, but I missed 8 workouts out of the 24. 16 out of 24. I can't accurately say that it was the workouts that didn't work. I missed a third of the workouts. So in order to actually know where progress is coming or not coming from, you need to be consistent. It's the only way to accurately know. And that's what you're here for. You're here to not take the guesswork out. You don't want to be consistently guessing and keep coming back. Trust me, I've done that so many times, time and time again, coming back to different things because I either wasn't consistent with it or it didn't work. But if I wasn't consistent, I didn't know. So I would try the same thing over and over and over again. I'm like, why is this not working? I can't stick with it. I'm not sticking with it. Okay. I have to stick with it. Oh, it didn't work now? Okay. It was that. It was that I was doing that wasn't working. I need to switch it up to something that will work. Try something else. We'll find it. Figure it out. I figured out what works for me right now, and it's doing great. But you got to figure it out. You got to figure out what works for you within the season of your life. Lastly, never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. You can make adjustments. You can change courses of the ship, but do not ever give up. It is not the option. It is not an option that's even on the table. So get that out of your mind. There are certain things in life that should never be an option, and giving up is not one of them. Making an adjustment, making a change, changing your course because that's no longer serving you, that is very different than giving up. Do not give up. Do not lose hope. It is possible. You can make adjustments. You can always make adjustments. You can always make a change. It's really, it, it's really that simple. Tomorrow's a new day. We can change something. It's a new season. Yankees can win the World Series. But you got to know that you can make that change. And if you give up, you can't make a change. So don't give up. Just try again tomorrow. Because I'm telling you right now, it might feel like you're not going to make that progress. You're fighting through this plateau. But I'm telling you, on the other side of that fight, on the other side of that obstacle, is the version of you that is making the progress that you want, has made the progress you want. If you don't take the action, if you don't make the adjustments, if you don't overcome that obstacle, you'll never be that person. You'll never meet that person. So don't give up. Don't give up because you never know. You never know. This could be the obstacle. This could be who you want to be, and you could be right here. You could be right here. One little itty bitty step over. That journey could be a lot closer than you think to the finish line. So don't give up. Never give up. It's not an option. It's not even in my vocabulary. If you ever taken any of my classes, you will know that that is not an option. I'm never going to give up. You should never give up. Everyone, I tell everyone, that's not a thing. It's not even my vocabulary, not even a thought. So until next week, guys, let's keep getting after it. Keep crushing those goals. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. Message me, please, if you need any help. DM me, email me. It's all in the show notes. I'm here to help you guys. And if you found this information helpful, please leave a 5-star review. It really means the world to me to know that this is helpful for you and helping you get through your journey. It's why I do it. I love you all. I want to be able to share my experiences and my time with you guys. So keep on crushing it. Leave a 5-star review. Until next week. Peace.